Speaker of the House right here, United States of America, and Congressman Mike Johnson. Congressman, how you doing?
Hey, brother, I'm doing all right. Great to hear your voice, as always.
Yeah, you a busy cat. I know that. You're all over the place. Every time I pick up and call you, you might be in Iowa, you might be in D.C., you might be in Bossier. Who knows?
Today I'm in Lake Charles and then headed to Alexandria, trying to cover, I have 20 parishes in my district, so it takes a while to get everywhere, but we're working on it.
Let's pop two or three topics real quick. The first one, of course, is the budget. You passed the budget. Let me ask this. I'm gonna ask it this way, and let you go to town on it. I was told that, let's say the government shut down, whatever that means, Mike, and I don't know what that means anymore. But let's just say whatever. Does the president of the United States at that point run the budget? What closes? What gets funded? And you guys really, you might have a say, but you really don't have a say. The president gets to. How does that work?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So whomever is the president.
Oh, we lost him. Mike, can you still hear me? I lost you. Okay, I got you. Baby, you there? Yeah, I lost you just for a second when you started. Hey, Mike. Oh, this ain't good. Mr. Speaker, call me back. Walker, hang up on him. All right, I apologize, folks. I know he's traveling around, but I just lost him. And if he's in Lake Charles, headed to LA, he might have hit a bad zone, but I hope to get him back. Anyway, the question is, I had a friend of mine say, ask him, because really Schumer and them cannot afford to shut the government down. Now they're giving Trump all the power, most all the power that he can fund what he wants to and cut what he wants to. And if that's the case, here we go. All right. Mr. Speaker, I got you back.
Moon, I'm sorry, man. I'm in a rural area north of Lake Charles. So,
no, we're good. We're good. No, answer the question.
Your question's a very important one, okay? So the president is in charge of the executive branch of government and controls all the agencies and all the, federal spending by the agencies. And so he does control all the dials, right? So Chuck Schumer is effectively walking into a trap. Let me tell you what's happening. I've been working very hard to get Congress back to the way the budgeting and appropriations process is supposed to work. Under federal law, there's supposed to be 12 separate appropriations bills done every year. Congress hasn't done that for a long time because they wait till the end of the year right before Christmas and they cram it all together in a giant omnibus spending bill. And that is not good stewardship because you don't spend money wisely when you do that. So here's where we are. Good news. The House has been forced back into muscle memory, and we passed 12 separate appropriations bills through committees on a bipartisan basis, by the way. That's supposed to work. 3 of them off the House floor, 3 bills passed off the Senate. We're moving it. We're getting back to the way it's supposed to work. The problem is we're running out of clock because the end of the fiscal year is September 30. Yeah. So we need a short stopgap funding measure to give us about 7 more weeks to finish the process. So that's what we passed out of the House. No frills, no partisan stuff, no tricks. We're just keeping the government open. Well, guess what? The Democrats are trying to play partisan games with it. Mm-hmm. And they said, we're not going to vote to keep the government open unless you restore free health care to illegal aliens. Wow. Unless you roll back the $50 billion you guys set aside for rural hospitals in red states, and unless you give $500 million to NPR. Right? That's their demands, among other things. They want to spend $1.5 trillion additional dollars on a 7-week, simple, clean stopgap funding measure. We're not doing it. We're not going to do that. Yeah. So if they shut it down, it's going to be on the Democrats, and they've got to make that decision by Wednesday. Yeah, Tuesday night.
The good news, the reason I asked the question, a good friend of mine sent that to me, and he said, well, as much as they hate Trump, now they're going to let Trump have all the power over the agencies. He said the Democrats will cave on this one. Not that they like you either, Mike, but they really can't stand his guts. And I thought, man, this is a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. They're going to put him in charge of what is spent. And obviously the president is going to prioritize the things that he likes, that we all like, and give a much lower priority to Democrat initiatives and priorities. So they're walking into the trap that they set for themselves.
Yeah, why? So do you think in your heart that they'll come around to coming around to what y'all need to do?
I think they have to. Okay. I mean, it may take days or a week or so, but I mean, eventually they're going to have to fold because we're not going to do these crazy far left big spending priorities. We're just not doing it.
Yeah, I appreciate the president not meeting with Schumer and Jeffries. He had no reason to. Those were one or two of his harshest critics. I mean, hating on this man every chance they get. Now we're gonna meet with you. I'm glad he said no. I'm not. This is what we're doing, and that put a lot of teeth into what you were talking about, what you were trying to do with the budget.
Well, right. I mean, he and I talked about that at length before he made the announcement that he was not going to meet with him. I said, Mr. President, they shouldn't have to have a meeting with you just to do their jobs and fund the government. It's like a basic responsibility. And you know what? After they do that, after they get that basic job done, then maybe you can meet with them about things that might be productive, but not before.
Yeah, if you meet with before you do what they ask, they're going to turn on you anyway. It's just a matter of time.
Exactly.
I'm not wrong. I've been also reading a lot about good things about the border. We had Secretary Holman on one day, and he was really good. But can you give us a little update on what's the difference now and then when Biden, Obama, and them had it, the difference of illegals and what's all being done?
Right now, it's the exact opposite of what Biden and Harris did for 4 years. They opened the border wide. You and I talked about it so many times. I mean, we think as many as 20 million illegal aliens came across that wide open border because they put out the welcome mat. And as we know, many of them were dangerous, hardened criminals. They brought fentanyl in, which became the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 24, all the way across the board. But now the opposite has happened. We had an election. The president went in and enforced existing federal law, which we argued for 4 years could have been done at any day by Biden, and shut the border tight, man. So there's almost zero illegal aliens coming across the border now on any given week or month. Almost zero. But now we've got to contend with the chaos and the catastrophe that the previous administration created by letting everybody in. So they're trying to round up and get all these dangerous, hardened criminals out of the U.S. and enforce federal law. And you see the result. The radical left is hunting ICE agents, immigrations and customs enforcement agents. I mean, there was a shooting yesterday in Dallas, as you saw, and a rooftop sniper trying to take out ICE agents. Yeah. Sadly, tragically, he hit two illegals who had been apprehended, and no ICE agents died, thankfully, for that. But, I mean, it's just chaos. And you have these elected officials telling people that ICE agents are fascists and Nazis and all this nonsense. It's crazy. They're trying to enforce federal law. We have to do that.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I want to let you mention, because I was reading it, you were good friends with Charlie Kirk, and I'm still mad about that. I'm just livid. But there's a spiritual movement moving throughout our land because of what happened. And do you think the Charlie Kirk deal will affect the elections next fall? I do. I think it's going to be bigger than people think. But I'm just asking you because you're in it, you're involved, you're tight in it, you got to raise money and get reelection and try to get. Do you think this will become a story next year? I do.
I do too, Moon. Look, I'll tell you that Charlie was a good friend, and his impact on American culture, society, it can't be overstated. The memorial event in Arizona on Sunday was just an incredible event, and Kelly and I had the opportunity to fly with the president on Air Force One, and being there, it was really something. On the days leading up to that, I spoke at I think 4 different memorial events, around the country. We did a turning point vigil at LSU the night before the Florida game a couple weeks ago, and we did the Kennedy Center vigil. I spoke at that on Charlie's behalf, and bipartisan vigil in Congress. But here's the thing: he had this great effect because he not only educated young people, he inspired them because Charlie's message was about patriotism and virtue and goodness and faith, family, and freedom. But his approach was not one that was ever motivated by hate or anger. He actually genuinely loved the people who disagreed with us. And that's the model that has to be perpetuated. I 100% agree with you. They've had over 65,000 requests for new Turning Point chapters now around the country since his passing. This is a movement. Young people are going to be very motivated for the midterm election, and you know which side they're going to be supporting. So I think it's going to have a major effect.
Yeah, it is. Last thing, do you, once you get rid of this budget and you got 7 weeks, what are you hoping to accomplish in 7 weeks? Because we do seem to have these continuing budgets like this. I want to say it started under Barack Obama, where we don't do budgets anymore. So, and I think I'm right about that. So what is the plan if we get past this? Because there are people that's always in my ears going, ask Mike this, ask Mike that. Well, I'm asking you straight up, when do we stop doing this? Or is it once again that because y'all so tight in elections with Republicans and Democrats, it's almost impossible to do?
Well, it's almost impossible. You're right, because I'll have to be back down to a 1 vote margin by the end of this year. I mean, 1 vote. So I've got to get every single person to come along. But in spite of that, I'm very optimistic. Look, I mentioned we got 3 of the bills already done through the process, 3 of the 12. If we have 7 weeks, we have all the appropriators working. They're ready. They're ready to get back to work. And I think we can get the rest of those 9 through the process, at least as many as possible before we run out of clock again. And if there's 1 or 2 bills left or whatever, we can patch those together and do them as what we call a minibus, not an omnibus. But look, this is the way you get back, build back muscle memory, build back responsibility and governance and stewardship of taxpayer dollars. We've got to do it, and I'm going to keep pushing.
Yeah. All right, Speaker of the House, Congressman Mike Johnson. All right, Mr. Speaker, God bless. Look forward to hearing from you again.
Thanks, brother. Good talking to you.
All right, take care. Yes, sir. All right.